So here we go. It's another episode of The Black Market, and today we have the one and only Kirk Pelichet here with us.
How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. I'm definitely happy to have you on. This is going to be one of these, I guess you could say, episodes or one of these interviews that, we get to the bottom of things. I know you're a truthful brother, and that was the reason that we called you in, because, we're really trying to get to the heart of people. We're really trying to get to the heart of these kids, and I know that you do a lot of work dealing with kids in our community, and I think that you are the epitome of, what black excellence is for a young black man in today's society. So, without further ado, just let the people at home know who Kirk Pelichet is. Just give us a little bit about yourself.
First of all, I'm glad to be here, man. I definitely want to say big ups to you guys for doing what you do. Much success. But my name is Kirk Pelichet. I'm a native of Baton Rouge. Went to school here, graduated, Southern, teach. So that's what I'm into now. I'm a media arts teacher at CSAL Middle, and that's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I'm also the owner of Geaux Cruisin bike tours in downtown Baton Rouge.
It's good stuff. So you mentioned that you grew up, here in Baton Rouge, and I have to ask, so what are some of the main differences that you see from when you were growing up here in Baton Rouge to what you see nowadays?
Definitely resources, the infrastructure. Plenty of things that we didn't have, back then, as you can imagine, 38 years old, so. But just definitely the infrastructure, man, especially downtown, to see the things that they're building, things that are continually being built. Also schools. The public school system is totally different. It's a lot of charter schools taking over, so the neighborhood schools are kind of out right now. You might have a few public schools that are still maintaining on their own, but definitely the school system in Baton Rouge has changed a lot also.
Okay, no doubt. So I hear a lot of people saying, these kids, and I want to kind of touch on them real quickly. These kids these days, man, they terrible. They don't listen. They don't show respect, and so on and so forth. So, I mean, what's your take on that? Is it more so of one of these things to where we drop the ball, or the generations before us, or parenting, or, is it a little bit of the penal system, or, what do we need more of? What do you see, and what do you think are some things that can be done to change what's going on right now?
That's a great question, man. I mean, definitely a great question to the heart of going on what's right now in Baton Rouge, because that's a direct reflect of violence. Kids don't have anything to do. It's definitely a generational thing also. I think as our generation, the age those kids are now, we're not, we dropped the ball. I would definitely say that. Because if you think about it, the older folks, we call them OGs, when we were younger, they gave us game, we soaked it up. And now it's just kind of a clash now, So when I feel myself doing that or giving them game, they're kind of reluctant, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you're old, or So I definitely think it's a lot of different things, the penal system. These kids need things to do after school also. There are activities, but we need the right activities in the right areas. I'm gonna put it like that. I mean, it's cool to have those things in, the south side of Baton Rouge, and I'm talking about by the Mall, Louisiana, downtown. But we need those things, the same things on the north side of Baton Rouge also. And I also think it's the city, it's the government. So we all have a part to play in that, and we all have to take our blame in it also.
Why do you think that is? The north side doesn't have access to some of the things.
I'm from Scotlandville, Louisiana. Went to Baker High, so that's on the north side. It's about 90%, urban. It's 90% black. So it just is what it is. Things aren't being built. Things aren't being renovated. Everyone's moving from that side. That's what we're fighting for now. A good friend of mine, Jason Hughes, he has Project 70805. And it's definitely, his program is concentrated in the north side of Baton Rouge to bring back businesses, bring back homeowners, you know, school systems, try to get those things back up and running. So I definitely think more people like him will help out the situation in those areas because he's doing it in that area and in the right area.
And that's a good thing because I know Jason as well. You know, we were on the yard together, and you know, me and Jason used to run it back and forth and chop it up about a few things. So big shouts out to him. And also something that I see quite frequently would be yourself, Jason, and or Mayor Sharon Westenbroom, all in a picture together. And I really think that that's a model of black excellence. I really, really love everything that Mayor Westenbroom is about. When I was in the school system and I was working in truancy, I think she was a senator at that point.
She was, Senator Broom, correct.
And at that point in time, when I was in truancy, we weren't, you know, just going to pick up kids and bringing them to jail like most people may think that you would do. It was more so of intervention. It was an assessment to see, okay, what do these kids need? You know, some kids may be on the wrong bus routes and that's why they can't make it to school, or some kids may live 2 miles away from the school and it's just, you know, hard for them to get up and walk that distance. Some kids just, you know, needed uniforms or whatever the case may be, and those were some of the issues that we tackled and got to the bottom of. And I say all of that to say this, that Mayor Westenbroom at that time, she fought tooth and nail for that particular program, you know, as far as like to receive, you know, more funding, to provide more resources for us and all of that stuff. And so, you know, it's never a bad word that can be said about Mayor Westenbroom to myself. And so when I see all of you in the picture together, I know, you know, there's some good things are brewing. And so definitely want to commend you on that, because I think that's a huge power play, and I think it speaks volumes for our community.
And to piggyback on that, man, she's done a great job since she's been in. I'm just being honest, from concentrating on the health aspect, education, different programs, you know, in certain areas and stuff like that. I understand she can't take care of everything, but she's done her part and more. So I definitely have to give a big up to her on that.
So I see you started the company called Go Cruisin. What made you want to start that company and why?
Honestly, people ask me all the time. I'm like, I'm not a genius. I honestly was just in New Orleans 3 years ago. I saw it and I said, man, what would that be like in my city? And I bought 10 bikes. 15 people showed up and it just took off like wildfire from there, you know?
You say that, and when I seen it in New Orleans, I was like, New Orleans taking our style. That started in Baton Rouge.
No. I can say, and I did a little history on it. They started about 9-10 years ago, almost. And there's a few bike clubs now, but it was an older guy. He had City Lights, and he's kind of the one that was the kind of pioneer of that. Can't think of his name right there. Sorry about that. But like I said, I got the idea from New Orleans. Thought it was a cool deal. Now, I thought it was gonna be maybe, you know, a little hobby. Something here, it wouldn't take up too much of my time, but it's grown into a full-blown business that takes up a lot of my time. I'm not complaining at all, but I'm definitely appreciative of it, but I didn't expect this though.
So what would you say has been your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge is I'm a full-time teacher. So my weekends are dedicated to the bikes. From Thursday through Saturday are dedicated to the bikes. So time management is probably just my biggest problem, but I've, you know, hired a few people, so it kind of works out now. You know, doing a little better now. It's my 3rd year, so time management definitely was my biggest issue.
I think you really add value to the city,
Right.
you know, with a business of the sort.
Thank you.
Because I see, you know, when I see people enjoying themselves, people having a good time, and also the visuals, you know, that's,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, on the bikes.
It just seems fun.
Right. You know, it almost serves like a stress reliever and you know, just a time to enjoy yourself, you know, all at the same time.
Now, it's a party on 2 wheels, that's what I call it. You know, we meet at downtown Daiquiris, which is Ruffins. You know, you're able to get adult beverage. I got cup holders on all the bikes. We have a great time, listen to music. But the main thing of what I tell people after the ride, I'm like, did you enjoy yourselves? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, did you know you just did 3.5 miles? They're like, really? So I love to get a kick out of that, to see their faces like, wow. And I've had so many people that have came rode one time, and then they'll go buy their own bike and come ride with me all the time. Like, I got people that's been dedicated for 3 years now, and they come ride every weekend with me. I have a lady, Miss Liz. She's in Baton Rouge. She lost about 80 pounds. She came out, she couldn't make it on the ride one time. We had to put her in a truck. I hate to say that, Miss Liz, but we had to put her in a truck. And she said, Kirk, I'm going to get me a bike. She went and got her bike, and she's been riding with us for 3 years. She lost about 80 to 90 pounds.
That's good. That's a testimony. Good job, Miss Liz.
Also, I had a young lady that had a stroke. She's about 45, Miss Mary. And doctor told her she needs to do some kind of form of exercise. So she came out to the ride one day, and she's been riding with us ever since. That's her form of therapy now. So that's definitely rewarding to me, you know, so stories like that, because we have fun, we party, no doubt, but stories like that, definitely, that's rewarding to me, so.
That's a good thing, man. And we're going to make our way to you soon.
Please.
Soon.
Please.
You know, but you know how it is, business and all of that stuff. Like you said, time management.
It's the weekend, so I
you know, and we got, young kids. But anyway.
So where do you want to take Go Cruisin? What do you see Go Cruisin in the next 5 years or so?
I want to go cruising in every major city. Miami, Phoenix, LA. I want it to be something enjoyable and people can see our culture in other cities, because that's definitely our culture. You know, I mean, that's us. So I want to spread that to other cities and hopefully, be able to maybe franchise it to where I can, hey, don't have to be there, just, send me this, send me that. But I definitely think that would be something cool in, major cities, though.
Okay, so obviously you got Go Cruisin, you got that up and running off the ground, and it's flourishing, doing pretty well.
Definitely.
And there's something called Gotcha downtown. It's another bike service or something like that that you're involved with. Just kind of give us some insight on that and what that is.
Okay, Gotcha is a bike share program. It's government funded. Basically they try to help ride share and, keep cars off the road or, keep the ignition things down or stuff like that. But they contacted me about doing special events, and that's what we had with the mayor, the ribbon cutting. And I led a tour of about 100 people downtown. So we did a quick photo op, did a tour, and so that's what Gotcha is. It's a bike share program. You can rent different bikes and stuff. So they're from here to Mid-City. Southern has them also, LSU. So it's about 500 bikes in the city, though, man. It's definitely a good deal.
Okay, and so what's the color of those bikes?
They're kind of like a teal and black green. I mean, you can't miss them.
Right.
They're
So
lined up all through the city. And like I said, with Go Cruisin, we trying to be more involved in the community. Do a lot of things with Mayor Weston Broom also. We do a thing called Pelling for Peace every year. And I hate to say it, whenever the violence gets kind of too high, we kind of use that because we don't have a certain date that we do it every year. It's kind of been based off just, violence is rising. She'll give me a call. Let's try to, reach out. We get all the major people in the city, from Mr. Monco, city councilmen, influential businessmen. So we try to do that just so we can shed a light to say, hey, we're coming together so we can try to, stop the violence a little.
Yeah, definitely let us know when something like that comes up. We'd like to be a part of that to help push that word out.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah.
We'll have that coming up probably about the end of November or something.
Okay, that's good.
Definitely. So obviously there is some violence, in the city, and, definitely we need as many solutions as we can to get to the bottom of that. But I just want your thoughts on this. So what role do you think that gangster rap plays in what's going on in the community? Because, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not looking out on these kids. I'm not condemning them for anything, because anybody who knows me, they know that back then, Magnolia Slim, Soldier Slim, that was all I wanted to listen to, But then I got older, and then I realized that some of the words, that he was speaking, and, may not have been pleasant words and may have led to even more unpleasant actions. And it just pains you to see young African American
Right.
males losing their lives behind things that's so senseless. And personally, like I said, I'm not condemning them. I'm not looking down on anyone. But personally, I'm ready for the gangster rap era of music to just go away, die down, or whatever. You know, let's get more to, you know, the business ownership aspect of music. You know, let's have a good time. You know, and so on and so forth. And I know it's not that easy. I know it just won't happen overnight. But what's your take on that gangster rap and stuff like that in the community?
Honestly, I'm kind of on the fence about that one. And I say that because I listen to NBA Youngboy. My kids like, whoa, 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 what you doing listening to that? And I tell them all the time, like, hey, I'm not 70. You know what I mean? So, and why I say I'm on the fence about that, because I can speak for myself when I can say, I can listen to something, even when I was young, and it's not going to influence me to do something.
Right.
But I can't speak for everyone. So that's why I kind of say I'm on the fence about it, because they do have kids out there that will be influenced by that. By that. I
Right.
want to be like NBA Youngboy. He's telling me to go do this, or he's telling me, look, you got a problem with somebody. So I am on the fence about that. I do try to preach to my kids, you know, hey, it's music. He has a freedom of speech, and he's exercising that. So, you know, can't take everything literal. But honestly, do I think it plays a part in our society? It does. I mean, I definitely can't be naive about that, because they are kids that are influenced by that, because they want to be just like that.
Right.
So I definitely think it plays a big part in our society.
I agree with what you're saying. Some people can differentiate, you know, what to and not to do when it comes down to music and all of that stuff. And so I agree. Again, that's why I said I'm not condemning anyone for, you know, the choices that they make in that regard. However, there is a dark side to it. And I know one of the reasons that you can really relate to your kids, because you went on a vacation
Definitely.
for a couple of years,
Did.
or a few years, you know. So would you mind talking about that situation?
And not at all. And speaking of that, I'm trying to get something together now, because I want to share my story and try to, you know, reach out to kids and just tell them about bad decisions. Like, I'm not a violent person, you know, don't have no armed robbery, guns and stuff like that. But I had a love for money. And that love for money made me, you know, do some bad things and make bad decisions. You know, for somebody being in college, you know, you shouldn't be hustling marijuana. You know, you should be concentrating on the field that you're doing. But like I said, you know, I came up around some things, so I just kind of used what I knew, made some bad choices. I got locked up in 2013, and I did 3 years, right exactly 3 years, and for possession of marijuana. I tell my kids all the time, like, a decision can derail your life so fast, because when I got locked up, I was working for Southern. I was calling games on the radio. I had just got hired. I had a sports talk show on 106.1. You know, I was doing great. You know, where I was on the right track to where I wanted to be. I had my plan. I had my, you know, everything set out. And one bad decision, you know, and got locked up, man. They gave me 3 years. Could have been worse. But those 3 years, and I tell people, they look at me like I'm crazy. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because if that didn't happen, I probably would be worse. You know what I'm saying? Like something worse. So God came in, stopped me, and said, hey, you need to sit down. So I used that time wisely. Prison will do two things to you. It's going to make you better or worse. You will not come out the same. So I used that time wisely. I set goals. I said I wanted to work for myself. I didn't know what business it was going to be, but I did have a business plan. I set a motto out. So, and like I said, when I got out, the bikes just kind of fell, you know, well, I ain't gonna say kind of fell, the Lord put it in my life. That's exactly what happened. So, but definitely, man, so like I said, I want to reach out to kids and just let them know if I could just stop one or two, you know, I done did my job, you know, because I did have people talking to me, you know, I can't say I didn't have guidance, but I made my own decisions like a man. I had to, you know, face them like a man. So, and I'm just on the redemption road right now, man. That's how I feel.
Well, no doubt about it, man. And when I heard, you know, that you had got locked up, I think it was towards the end of the bid. And I was just kind of scratching my head, because I was like,
A lot of people scratching their
Kirk?
head.
I'm like, nah, we must be talking about a different Kirk. I'm like, why? What happened? You know, and you know, so obviously I had heard, you know, what had happened, and so I'm like, oh, okay. So, and I didn't brush it off, but I was like, well, he definitely gonna shake back from this, the Kirk that I know, you know, and lo and behold, you know, here we are years later, business owner, in the school system, in the community, you know, giving back, and that's the true definition of a redemption story, you know, and so once again, I definitely commend you on all of that because, you know, either you can fold, you know, or you can push through because I'm sure that when you came home, everything didn't just fall right back into place as you would have liked it, you know, when you did come home. It wasn't the way it was before you went in, you know, so I'm sure there's certain opportunities you had to scratch and claw for. And so with that being said, I want to ask about, you know, you being in the school system. So how did that opportunity come about?
Honestly, I've taught before. Taught at 4th and 5th grade at Bakerfield Elementary right after I graduated in '06. So from there, I kind of started getting in trouble, so I got out the school system. You know, worked odd jobs. I mean, from the plant to, you know, different things. But what happened is Mr. Lamont Cole, pretty sure you're familiar with Mr. Cole,
Shout
great
out
guy.
to Lamont, man, that's my guy.
City Councilman Lamont Cole. He reached out to me with the Peddling for Peace with the bikes. So that's how we kind of got introduced me to the mayor, you know, helped me with a lot of relationships. And he said one day, like, you know, you like kids, you like working with kids, I need a sub. So I'm like, a sub? I'm like, I guess. So I didn't really have a day job. The bikes were doing well, so I was just kind of working at night. So like, man, come on over, you know, help me out. So I'm like, cool. I was subbing for a week, and when I mean I fell in love with it, not just the kids, but with the whole CSAL way, you know, with the administration, the things they did, they take care of the kids, they take care of the teachers. And he told me, he said, man, look, if you stay with me, you hold on, I got you. And I would say the end of school year last year, he gave me a call, and he said, hey, go to the main office and sign your contract. And that's exactly how it went. And we started the media arts program at CSAL. I'm the first to do it. So first in middle school in the parish. High schools
that's
have
awesome.
it, but we're the first middle school with a media arts program. So big shots out to Lamont Cole, man.
Definitely, man, definitely. That's a good brother, and he's what's his title or his position?
He is the CAO, and that's the Chief Academic Officer. And I also got to shout out Mr. Johnson, the brains behind it all. He's the CEO, and that's Dr. Dewan Johnson.
Hey, no doubt, no doubt. Big up to those brothers, man. Big up.
Okay, so just transitioning from, you know, the vacation you went on and actually being involved in everything that you are in right now, and again, successful business. What advice would you give to someone who's trying to start a side hustle? Because you had to build that up, and
Definitely.
just looking at everything, you know, it seems like you've done quite well building that up from scratch to now. So what advice would you give to someone who's trying to start a side hustle?
Definitely, and I like to say vacation too. I tell you vacation. But like when I came home 2 weeks before the storm in '16. If you guys remember the flood, I went straight into gutting houses. Wasn't pretty, but I needed a job, so I went straight into that. And like I said, you know, went to New Orleans, started a bike business. But the first thing you need to do, and the most important thing, because I didn't do this at first, you have to have a business plan. I didn't do it for my bikes, I would like to say that. I didn't have a business plan. I mean, I've eventually, you know, made one, but the first thing you need to do is research and have a business plan, because what you can do is off that business plan, you can go in steps. So you don't, because it's a process. So you definitely have to have a business plan. If you need investors, you need to put that in there. From your, you know, your trademarks to, you know, whatever you need to do, you need to have all that in your business plan, because that is important. I didn't realize how important that was. I've always heard the word business plan, but it is essential to having a business.
Right. So any other side hustles about to come about, or, you know, any other projects that you're working on that you know, may want people to know about? I know you're doing something sports related. So kind of expound on that a little bit.
My first love, man, sports. So I started Sports Cypher, like I said, at a talk radio show. A friend of mine, QP, Quentin Paul, he does the ring announcing for the boxing shows down here. Also at Sneaker House, y'all check him out on O'Neill Lane. But
Definitely.
QP came in and he was a guest one day, kind of like a guest picker. You know, he came in, we talked sports, and my program manager loved it, the way we kind of, you know, interacted. So we like, man, we need to do our own thing. So we came up with the name Sports Cypher. And what Sports Cypher is, we concentrate on high school sports in the Baton Rouge area and surrounding areas also. You know, give them a platform, because it's tough. If you look at states like Texas and California, Florida, they have their own networks for high school.
Right.
And their talent is no better than the talent in Louisiana.
Right.
As small as we are, but, you know, you can look at NFL college rosters and, you know, you can see. So Sports Cypher is dedicated to those kids, man. Give them a platform. All kids love to see themselves on TV or on Instagram. You know, it just makes you feel good. I know when I was on TV, hey, I felt like a star. So we just want to give those guys that platform. You know, we pick a player of the week every week. You know, give defensive MVPs, offensive MVPs. So do interviews with coaches. We've been in existence about 6 years now. So definitely doing good.
Okay, cool. So is just football, or is it?
Oh, no. We cover all sports. I mean, track, basketball, girls and boys, football. So we are trying to branch out, because it's just myself, a cameraman, and QP. Right. So we are getting, you know, more investors involved and stuff like that, because this is something, I mean, sports in Louisiana, period, is big. So if you pitch anything to somebody about sports, 9 times out of 10, you know, they're going to be interested. So definitely.
Right. Good deal. Good deal.
So is it anything that you want to leave the audience with? Any advice or anything of that nature before?
Definitely just don't give up. I mean, I've been in some situations, man, that look bleak. Like, you know, I want to break down, cry. I was in situations. I mean, I was in a box 23-1. I got caught with a cell phone when I was locked up. And 3 months in a cell, 23 or 24 hours a day, it's going to make you or break you. So you got to rely on your faith. You got to believe in God. And you got to believe in yourself also. And that's what I did, and that's definitely why I'm here. So
I can't just let you go without asking about that box experience, man.
Oh, man. I have no problem sharing, man.
I mean, so what do you do with all of that time in that little cell? I mean, I'm sure you have to talk to yourself. I mean, what do you do? How do you not focus on this little small space or environment that's around you? Yeah, how do you not break down mentally from being in a situation?
I was close, but I can tell you I was working out, reading, and listening to music. That's what I did all the time. And just being honest, it's called 23-1 because you're supposed to be in a cell 23 hours a day, and you're supposed to get an hour of rec time. Now, they didn't do that, you know, so I was in there. It was a couple times for 2 weeks straight. We didn't go outside anything. I was in a box. Maybe every other 2 days they would let us go down there and shower. So with that being said, you go get to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? Example, I had a guy from Shreveport next to me, big guy. Herc was probably about 6'5", 300 pounds. He kept getting in trouble. And once you get in trouble while you're already in the box, you add time to it. And he eventually lost his mind. He had to go across the street to the psychiatric ward. And that kind of was like, you know, that was another motivation for me, like, okay, Kirk, you got to be strong. But that time will show you who you truly are, to let you get to know yourself. You go evaluate your life. You go evaluate the things you've done. So your mind can be your worst enemy and your best friend in there also. But yeah, like I said, you can come out better or worse.
And so I'm sure that you know, can find different ways to share certain experiences with the kids that you teach.
Yeah.
So does that give them more of a respect for you, you think, at least gives them more of a listening ear to you? You know, because I don't know how in depth you go, you know, with those kids about some of those experiences, but, you know, obviously you can't tell them from a first-hand perspective.
Right.
You know, so does that, you know, does that help in those instances or what?
It does. You know, at CSAL, we have a lot of, you know, urban kids or out the hood. So I know when I was a kid, all my teachers, when I was young, you think they're like preachers and, you know, nuns. You know, you think they do no wrong. So it gives them that sense of, man, he's relatable, he's real, you know. Because you got to think about it. They have an uncle or a dad or whoever that, you know, they look up to that might have did time. Some of them do think that's cool. But I try to let them know that's not cool. I wasted 3 years of my life that I'm trying to get back that you can't get back. So it definitely does help me relate. It gives me a sense of, you know, like I say, they believe me, you know, instead of just saying something, they, all right, whatever, Mr. Kirk. So it does give me a sense of accreditation with them.
And I can believe that they believe you, because you got a quality about you that a lot of people don't have. I don't know where you get this from or how you do it, but Kirk is good in any and every neighborhood that this dude goes in. I mean, you know, Baton Rouge, you definitely good. The whole St. James Parish where I'm from, you know, all the way back to J-Town, to Jeanerette.
True.
You know, I see you taking flights going to Arizona and this place and that place, and I don't know, you just one of those people that, you know, people tend to gravitate towards, and again, it's a testament to the genuineness, you know, of you as a person, man. And so, right. And so when I reached out for the interview, it was, hey man, look, I got you. Just let me know, you know. And there's much respect, you know what I'm saying, for that. So, but with that said, man, if it's anything that we can do here at the Black Market to contribute to what it is that you're doing, you know, or to the community or to Baton Rouge or, you know, any form of fashion, just definitely just let us know. And, you know, we can make some things happen because, you know, like I said prior to, you know, I've worked in the school system. I've, you know, done a lot of social work and stuff like that in my day. And so my heart has never left the community. And I'm still active as far as talking to some of the youth, you know, around my way and so on and so forth. So
that's what we need.
Yeah, definitely, man.
And also anything y'all need, because like I said, I like what y'all doing. I like the wife and the husband working together. Like, that is the dopest thing to me, honestly. So if y'all let me know anything y'all need, we can grow together, you know? So, I mean, I definitely want to see you guys succeed, and I love the name.
Kirk Pelichet, it's definitely a pleasure having you here, man. And I look forward to a whole lot more interviews, and we're going to go in depth about a lot of different things coming up. So,
Great.
But with that being said.
And if anyone want to experience the downtown tours, just give us a call, 225-424-7720. Or you can also go on the website, and it's GoCruisinBR.com, and that's GEAUX, cruising with no G.com, GoCruisin.com. My name is Kirk Pelichet, and I am the Black Market.